Good afternoon, everyone. I think we're having just a couple of folks still streaming in, but I think it's probably a good time to just get started. Thank you for coming this afternoon. My name is Kimathi Marangu, and I'm the EVP of Business Development at Mall Networks. We are a loyalty marketing firm, just over a year old, and we're providing online shopping malls for loyalty clients, such as NASCAR, the LA Dodgers, as well as the Arizona Diamondbacks and a few others that we have in the pipeline. I'm here to talk this afternoon about an interesting topic which has been around for a couple years now, but which I feel needs a little bit more attention within the context of this summit, and that's about loyalty affiliates and the relationships that we have with merchants. I've characterized that tongue-in-cheek as whether we're loyal allies or evildoers. This is a rhetorical question. You will not get anything but a biased answer from me today, so I'll just put that right on the table. But also I would like to add to that is that the relationship that we loyalty affiliates have with merchants is actually a very friendly one. It's not controversial. We're trying to find ways to work closer when things arise that are points of tension, and certainly I'm going to identify a couple of areas which are points of tension between loyalty affiliates and merchants, hopefully shine some light on some ways to address those points of tension and perhaps provide some new ideas. This is the era of Web 2.0, so in that spirit, I depend a lot on user-generated content, and that means that you, the audience, will be participating actively during the second part. If you don't, I will certainly call upon some of my pre-planted shills to spice up the discussion. It's part of preparation, and otherwise, please feel free to pipe up and jump right in. I expect to have an informative session from all of us here. So let's take us back to what I call in the beginning, which is a long time ago on a website far, far away. A merchant decided to start an affiliate program, and the interesting thing that happened, and this was in the 99, 2000, 2001 even perhaps, there are a lot of folks saying, wow, you mean I can get new business or new traffic and all I have to do is pay on success? And they say, well, I can do that all day long. I'll keep that coming in, and they signed up under that particular promise that they know what their costs are, and they figure that is actually, since it's defined, it seemed like a pretty good value proposition. But then these affiliate programs actually began to grow, and as they grew, tension began, and that's what I call sort of after the fall. The point of tension was that the shift sort of shifted from should we be able to get this done all day long to what's happening with our new to file list. New to file is something which is referred to by many folks in the direct marketing or catalog industry as basically new customers. They call it new to file because they then go out and use those file names to remarket to, send them catalogs, send them follow-up information, whether it's in the recent world, emails, etc. But new to file is a very important metric for the catalogers. And that's when the tension sort of began between loyalty affiliates and some of the merchants that we've worked with. Now, taking a step back from that dynamic, it's important to note that online retailers are dealing with many metrics, and I'm only covering a few of them here, but I'll run them through pretty quickly. One is sales. They want to see the sales, and they want to see the growth in sales. They monitor that. In the marketing group, they're also looking at market share. Are they taking market share away from their competitors, or are they growing at slower than their competitors, in which case the competitors are taking market share away from them? They also look at brand image, very brand image conscious. Those of you who are affiliates working with some of the online retailers would know that brand is very important, and they monitor that quite carefully. They're concerned with customer satisfaction. Customer sat's become a big deal these days, and people are doing surveys to find out how satisfied their customers are, whether they're getting their products on time, Everyone talks about Amazon as the gold standard in customer satisfaction. This is something which is an extremely important metric. Gross margin, what is the product mix? Are we selling all of the high margin products, or are we selling lots of products that aren't getting us much profit? So gross margin is another metric that is monitored quite carefully. Marketing expense. This is where the affiliate program comes under marketing expense, but also lots of other marketing expenses are taking place there, whether it's banner ads, whether it's portal deals, whether it's search marketing, or whether it's offline marketing expenses as well. They monitor that quite carefully. There are a couple in here that I'll get to later in my presentation, my prepared remarks. Customer lifetime value is one of them, and I'll define that in a moment. Also cost of acquisition. This is one of the points of contention that I'll get to in a moment as well. And RFM, which is, for those in the direct marketing or catalog industry, for the past 10 years or so, it's been an established standard as far as understanding their particular customer base. And so online retailers, just taking a look at that, there's lots of areas that are considered to be of importance to them. And at any given time, they're looking at any one of these areas. The curious thing that I found, and that's come up in this particular dynamic between loyalty affiliates and the merchants, is that the whole focus has been cost of acquisition. So, of all of those items, cost of acquisition has become the point of contention between loyalty marketers and their merchants. What do I mean by that? Let me define that. One measure of cost of acquisition is marketing costs divided by new customers acquired, or you could say marketing costs could be defined as the commissions that are paid to the affiliate, and the new customers acquired, just simply that, the new customers acquired during that most recent period that has been monitored. Interestingly enough, loyalty affiliates sort of fall victim to our own success. And if you take a look at that definition for a moment, basically, as loyalty affiliates continue to bring merchants repeat customers, that increases the sales, which increases the commissions. That means that the commissions are going to go up, but if they're not counterbalancing that with an ever-increasing set of new customers, they're going to have a metric here that shows up as extraordinarily expensive, despite all of the other issues that we talked about there in terms of metrics. And so loyalty affiliates, if faced with this as the only measure of success, can fall victim to the success that they are doing in terms of bringing in a high-quality customer. And so one of the reasons why I'm here today is to try and, first of all, expose the inherent trouble with looking at this particular metric, perhaps propose some more established metrics as a substitute for this metric. There's another metric here that I did not put on the board, but which has the same problem. Some merchants relate to something called the percent of new customers, which would be their new customers divided by existing customers that come from an existing affiliate. So think about what happens over year 1 to year 2. Year 1, a loyalty affiliate brings tons of new customers. That's great. Year 2, all of those new customers suddenly become part of what I'm calling the denominator, which is their total customers. And so a loyalty affiliate, again, has to race to create a whole other slug of new customers to counterbalance the customers that they brought themselves, who happen to be repeating often. It's a very challenging but an inherently unfair metric to be held against. And so cost of acquisition happens to be the culprit. So how did we get here? How did cost of acquisition become the main issue? Well, again, going back a few years, you have to look at what happened when affiliates and affiliate programs were initiated. this is a problem with this affiliate industry, is that we made the mistake of selling this as a low-cost means of acquiring new customers. And not only low cost, but low risk. And that's where the whole all-day-long idea came from. But by selling that as a new customer, cheap new way of creating new customers, what occurred is affiliates, when you think about where it actually sits inside a marketing team, affiliate managers have no responsibility for retention, generally speaking. The marketers as well, at the senior level within the organizations, tended to think of it as something which would be sort of automatic. And many of you in this room will understand when I say that oftentimes the affiliate program has been seen as something which could run on autopilot, which of course everybody in this room understands is not true. But when you look back at how it was originally sold as a cheap, risk-free channel, you can see how it got diverted in that direction. And so it's not that customer acquisition is in and of itself a very important metric for the affiliate channel, because we do know one thing. The affiliate channel is very profitable. The affiliate channel has very known costs. The affiliate channel is risk-free. And everything that it is sold as is in fact true. It is less expensive than search. It is risk-free because you're only paying on performance. Yet that same argument has worked against us in terms of where this program has arrived structurally. And so that's where, since the retention duties reside elsewhere, that's where the other argument has come up, where you've heard many merchants saying, well, look, as soon as somebody comes to our site, they taste the experience of working with us. They're going to come to us directly. These affiliates, these pesky affiliates, what are they doing? They're getting in the way of a customer actually interacting with us directly, and we're paying them a commission every time they come through. Isn't that terrible? But the whole idea of the irresistible fruit had to do with the idea that an affiliate channel is not a strategic retention management tool that is at the disposal of the marketing, but rather simply and strictly a customer acquisition tool. So that brings up another myth, which I'd like to also bring up in my preamble here, and that is, whose customer is it anyway? If it is true that once an affiliate sends somebody in, that they'll be able to come through directly to that merchant, whose customer is it? Is it yours if you are the retailer? I mean, after all, you own the name. True. You can remarket to that individual. That's true too. And you paid for it. You paid a commission. Sometimes you pay even a bounty for a new customer. So certainly yours. If I'm the affiliate, I say, well, maybe it's mine too. I mean, I own the name, and before that particular name was yours, that person came from my website. After all, this is all tracked. We know that. Before they were your new customer, they were our existing member. And so I didn't lose ownership of that affiliate or that member just because I sent a sale to the retailer. And besides, I got a measly commission relative to what the cost of acquisitions is, relatively speaking. So, you know, I haven't achieved full value for that particular name. Some people are a little bit more enlightened, and they say, well, it's ours. We have to, you know, certainly recognize that each of us has ownership, so that particular name is owned by all of us. I would suggest to you today that, in fact, the answer is none of the above. That if you look at what is happening today in online marketing, the costs of switching for a consumer, for a customer, is so infinitesimal. It is very different from what we have seen in the analog world. If you're in a mall and you don't like something, you could decide you're going to drive across town to someplace else. There's switching costs there, there's time, there's gas, especially today. But when you're on the web, that customer has very little switching costs involved. It's a point, a click of the mouse, they're on to some other place, they're on to a completely different website, and they have a completely different experience, and that experience could exclude both the merchant, the retailer, and the affiliate if everything's not in place. So the sooner we recognize that, then we realize that every transaction that occurs where an affiliate has referred business to a retailer is something that involves joint effort and should be acknowledged as something strategic for both parties, because neither of us really own the customer, and neither of us can compel the customer to stick with us. So sometimes when this discussion has come up, there are some typical loyalty defenses, and they talk about quantity and quality. Some on the quantity side. There's certainly strong representation among super affiliates in an affiliate program. It's a bedrock of most programs that do engage on the retailer side. And it's a stable, growing source of business. There's also the quality argument that affiliates have posited. And these have to do with high conversion rates. You've seen the high average order sizes. These are irrefutable facts. And so it's well established that we have very desirable demographics, and they deliver. Unfortunately, none of these arguments have really managed to sort of put a lid on this particular discussion, so it continues to emerge. And I think the reason why this has failed to impress has to do with the fact that we in the affiliate world are not talking the language of the folks who are creating this particular challenge. We need to change the language. We need to use their particular language. Language like conversion rates and basket sizes and demographics, maybe demographics, but basket sizes and conversion rates online, those are all new. These concerns are coming from folks who've been involved in the catalog industry in particular for many years, and they've used different metrics. And so that's why I wanted to bring some of that up in my preamble here. So let's talk the language of the marketer for a moment on the merchant side. And let's see where the hidden benefits are that are not being articulated in the affiliate program. Here are a few. Let's talk about free distribution. If a merchant decides that they're going to do a new product launch or provide a new offer, what other channel can provide them free distribution for that particular initiative? What other channel will they be able to get the word out without paying a dime? That's a hidden benefit of the affiliate channel, and certainly a hidden benefit of the loyalty affiliates. Let's talk about what happens after that distribution goes out and traffic comes in. Which other channel is going to provide free traffic? And I say free traffic with a hesitancy there and say, well, free qualified traffic, where clicks are coming in and they're not paying a dime for that. That's really important when you think about the affiliate channel and the loyalty affiliate channel in particular for providing a strategic asset that these marketers should be reconsidering the loyalty affiliate as. Free branding. I think one of the hallmarks of loyalty affiliate programs are that loyalty affiliates almost uniformly understand the importance of having and respecting the brands of the merchants that they work with. I think part of the reason why loyalty affiliates have had such a good relationship with the affiliate program managers that they work with is that the affiliate program managers, for the most part, know that the loyalty affiliates really respect the brand. If it happens to be if it happens to be the fall colors from some merchant and it's now springtime, you probably won't see that particular creative sort of being stale on the loyalty affiliate side. Yes.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
What are you defining as a loyalty affiliate? Somebody who's repeatedly using your program, or how are you defining loyalty affiliates?
Loyalty affiliates are the folks who typically provide some benefit back to a member. There's a membership program involved. We'll take either a uPromise or an Ebates or a Fat Wallet, In those cases, what's happening is the member signs up for that program, and they get either miles or points or something like that for every purchase that they make at a merchant's website. So think of an airline miles program brought online. I've talked about this before, but there's a lower cost of search. I've worked with and consulted to companies on the marketing side, and what you'll often see are a mix of costs of programs. And you'll see search up there, comparison shopping over there, employee purchase programs there, and then this big drop, affiliate program, email marketing. When you look across the options that are available for that particular merchant, it's typically the case that we're going to be a lower cost than search. And that's a hidden benefit that needs to be reminded in the conversation. Certainly more measurable than broadcast, and many merchants, as part of their mix, are shifting dollars online, oftentimes to search, but oftentimes also to affiliate programs. But in fact, it happens to be because it's more measurable. This year, broadcast actually had the first downturn in what they call the upfronts, where they had up till this point received record profits or record bookings of it was 9.5 billion last year. This year it's at 9.1 billion. First drop and the beginning of, I think, a long-term decline in broadcast, and that has to do with measurability. We're pushing that issue, but we need to remind folks, the same folks who are complaining about the loyalty affiliates, that in fact it is more measurable than some of the billions that are being spent in less measurable environments. And here's another one that's actually pretty interesting to me, which is the re-engaged customer. What happens to a re-engaged customer? And what am I referring to here? Sometimes there are folks who are involved in a program. They sign up for a program and then disappear for a while. And then they reemerge through Ebates or School Pop or something else. What sort of credit should a loyalty program get for bringing in a lapsed customer, someone who had disappeared for 1-2 years, who had been sent catalogs that they never responded to, and suddenly we found a way of connecting with that person through this loyalty program? That's very valuable. In fact, it's as valuable, if not more valuable, than a new customer who, may or may not have a true connection with this particular brand. And we need to continually remind ourselves in our conversations about making sure that a re-engaged customer doesn't hamper or hurt our metrics, just as well as a customer that we originally bring to a merchant doesn't get turned against us in terms of a simplified metric. So there are two metrics that I wanted to talk about that direct marketers in the catalog industry use a lot. I'll deal with them at a high level, but they're important to keep in mind, and I'm proposing that you should be thinking about these as well in conversations. RFM analysis has been around for about 10 years, and it basically looks at three factors: recency, frequency, and monetary value. And in terms of those three, basically what happens is a merchant looks at a member, a customer, and sees when was the last time they made their purchase, how recently was it, and they sort of sort all of their customers based on that and give them a score from 1 to 5, 5 being the most recent, and then also score them on a frequency level, like how many times has that customer actually interacted with us and made purchases, and score them again 1 to 5, and then also on the monetary value. These are interesting items because you can see that a loyalty affiliate might decide that they could might actually show up, and I'll pull this up again here, that a loyalty affiliate would actually score quite high when looking at all of these metrics, because the problem that a loyalty affiliate has is they're sending people more often and more recently, and so when scored using the established the established metrics that and using the language, as I was mentioning earlier, that folks are using in the catalog industry. Now we start to see that the loyalty affiliates happen to be providing exactly what they're looking for. People who are going to be shopping often and spending a lot of money. Recency is the most important factor, and the reason why it's called RFM analysis is that's exactly what is the most important piece. So when you think about what have you done for me lately, it's not what have you done for me lately in terms of new customers, it's what have you done for me lately in terms of bringing in people back to that particular merchant. And so it's a completely different way of looking at how loyalty affiliates are delivering good customers. Customer lifetime value is another metric that is used. This one is, I would say, probably more of a technical term, but I used as an example something that was provided by the California Lottery last Saturday. California Lotteries had a $110 million jackpot, which you could either earn over 26 years at a small amount at almost $3 million, graduating to $5.6 million, or you can get $57 million today if you won that lottery. And basically what they're saying is recency, or getting that money now, is worth more than the promise of the future. Why that's important is that recent purchases by loyalty affiliates support the same idea, that the members are more powerful. If a merchant were to say that the value of a member, customer lifetime value, is $500, and you, the loyalty affiliate, have sent 2 sales of $200 this year alone, that is far more powerful than waiting for that lifetime value to sort of peter itself out, because $100 5 years from now is nowhere near the value of $100 or even $50 today. And so customer lifetime value really, when looked at through the lens of the purchases and the purchasers that we're sending to the loyalty, to the programs that we work with on the retailer side, really support the idea that we are doing the right thing by our retailers. So with that, I'd like to open up for discussion. I think there might be a few folks among you who have actually seen some of these issues crop up. I'd encourage you to share some of them with us. For starters, I do know that there was one rather famous merchant that about a year ago decided that they were going to cease providing loyalty affiliates or others with ongoing commissions, and change the commission structure quite radically, such that they only paid for new customers. The good news is that a year has passed and nobody has followed suit. So I think that what we're finding is that indeed, if folks were interested in doing that test, which I think is a rather painful one, they would find that in fact it would not be to their advantage to undermine a program by only paying on the basis of new customers. But I will stop for a moment, and I think do we have a microphone? Okay. Yes?
We currently pay on the premises one time only. And because we found that a monthly client, we used to have a monthly program, and the monthly program didn't work, so now we only have an annual program where somebody comes in. And we found that the people wanting commissions from us, they couldn't think a year down the road. They wanted that $100 check for bringing the customer right now. It was just a much simpler, cleaner way than getting into some promise down the road about something's going to happen.
I suspect you're Could you tell us a little bit more about what business, is this a subscription type
It's
business?
a subscription business
Right.
with a member pays $900.
Sure, yep,
And we give $100 cash right there on the day of registration bonus to the affiliate that brings it in.
yep.
And we just found the affiliates weren't thinking a year down the road. They were thinking, what can I get now?
Sure. Yeah, subscription type businesses really do work well in that, under that arrangement. I mean, that's why the affiliates were looking for bounties. I think bounties work for subscription type businesses. They don't work as well for retail type businesses, because what happens, and the difference between the two is that you are realizing a certain contract value, in your case $900, and as soon as that is realized, then everything is in fact in order. And I think part of what you're struggling with there is an affiliate who is looking for that $100 probably goes through an inordinate amount of expense. I wouldn't be surprised if it was search related or otherwise up front to secure that particular
No, they usually put about 4 lines in one of their outgoing emails.
Sure.
And then boom, we start getting the inquiries and they convert.
Yep. Well, it is, subscription type businesses do work slightly different in that regard, and I think that would be, an online retailer would have a slightly different dilemma than yours, but I think a bounty is entirely appropriate. Yes?
I do online auto financing, so how would a loyalty program benefit my company? Because it's a one-time large purchase.
Sure.
Maybe 4 years down the line, they might be looking for another car, but how does a loyalty program benefit a company like ours?
Sure. So you're dealing with a considered purchase. Auto finance, it's not something that happens automatically or very quickly. A loyalty affiliate would and could work with you. I mean, the good news, like our friend Mitch in front here, what we found for those folks are that you would be able to secure a pretty meaningful sum of money in terms of a commission or a bounty that you could pass along to that affiliate. So that affiliate would then offer a portion of that bounty. Let's say that bounty was $50 or $100. That provides the affiliate with something like $25 or something $25, $30 that they can offer their members today to sign up with your auto loan, which is an attractive, it's actually a very attractive sum. Now, yes, 4 years from now, that's when they're going to be in the market for something else. The loyalty affiliate's not going to be terribly good at providing, making that particular consumer get 2 auto loans, because they don't need 2 auto loans. So you're more on the 4-year horizon versus the 1-year horizon.
So basically, you're saying the commission structure would need to be different for a loyalty affiliate. Like instead of paying per qualified application, it would be a longer commission. It wouldn't be instant gratification, because we would pay on a funded loan versus a qualified application.
Sure,
Because
you could.
You're paying someone. Do you see what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be instant gratification. You wouldn't instantly get that money, because it takes it could take up to 30 days for a loan to close.
Sure.
If it does.
Well, the member understands that they're not going to get that benefit until they've closed the deal. So, I mean, I think even though it's not instant gratification, there is an inherent understanding that you need to satisfy that first.
Okay.
Sure. Yes.
Me? Hi, Kimathi.
Oh, hi.
Excuse me. My name is Melissa, and I'm with Buy.com, and I just wanted to make a comment that we used to have the old school way of thinking where the affiliate channel was straight new customer acquisition, and sometimes even in today's world, executive management will raise an eyebrow when they see that ratio of new customers coming from loyalty affiliates being kind of the opposite of our other marketing campaigns. However, your presentation was right on in terms of what most merchants look for and what our obstacles are when it comes to paying commissions. However, my perception is that online consumers, I mean, it's their choice, especially when you're an online retailer and your products are a commodity. It's their choice who they're going to go to. And, we would love to have them back at buy.com, but if it's a loyalty affiliate that's grabbing their attention and provides that extra content or that value to make them come back through that channel, I'm not going to turn that away. So just coming from a retailer that's used to have that old school way of thinking, we love our loyalty affiliates. There's still he was laughing.
Yeah.
We
go back,
yeah.
Melissa.
No, I just want to say it's not not a waste of your marketing dollars, because we find value in that. And you know what? If we're not advertising on those sites, they could go to one of our competitors. It's going to go somewhere else. So while they're on there shopping and they're looking, my job is to just make sure we have the lowest prices and convert them to come to buy.com. But so I just wanted to make that comment.
Well, thank you, Melissa. And Melissa runs buy.com, and she's not one of the people that I planted in the audience, because I have planted some, but Melissa was not one of them. But buy.com actually has one of the most sophisticated programs with a very extensive team that has been dedicated to growing the affiliate channel, and loyalty affiliates is one of the cornerstones, I know, of your program, and we've worked together for many years. But it's interesting the point that you're bringing up, which is, if you think about what happens from a member's perspective, a loyalty member, and this is something we haven't talked about here yet, but a loyalty affiliate is more likely to purchase something at close to full price than somebody who is just very transaction oriented. A loyalty member will come to Ebates, click through to buy.com, and make a purchase of a book without necessarily receiving a special, because they're ready to buy a book or they're ready to buy an item, and they're not waiting for the deal. They are already getting the satisfaction of knowing that their purchase is going that extra step further. They're getting that rebate. And when you compare a 5% commission, which is what is paid, or something akin to that, versus a 50% off offer to lure somebody back as a retention tool, you can see how powerful a loyalty affiliate can be in terms of being able to deliver at a very low cost, even relative to other retention management tools that are in a toolbox. And I think, Melissa, you've touched on that in your comments, so thank you. Yes?
Hi, I'm Craig with MrRebates.com. I have a example of the victim of your own success that might hit home with some of the loyalty affiliates. We were working with a large store that will remain unnamed, and working with them for a long time, over 5 years, and we helped build their affiliate program when they were just starting out, and now they're one of the biggest stores in that category. But just recently, we get a phone call saying, basically, you're terminated from the affiliate agreement because we have gotten calls that customers don't understand the rebate offer. They think it's coming from the merchant. So they would say, well, why am I not getting this percentage from the merchant? And they would get really nasty calls. I don't know how many they didn't, disclose some of this information. And we tried to explain to them over and over that we do everything we can to say who the money's going to come from and how it works. And they were completely closed-minded. They didn't care that we built a relationship with them for so long. It's almost like you were saying, that maybe they felt that they were paying for customers they already had. They're very customer service oriented companies, so maybe just those few complaints were enough to just say, let's cut the cord. But again, we were trying to send them new customers, so every new customer is not going to always completely understand how it all works. And it's unfortunate that their customer service department couldn't handle this a little better and just explain. And so it's like you said, victim of your own success. We were really trying to work for them hard, and these things happen.
Yeah, and thank you for those comments, Craig. And that does happen. Certainly among when you're dealing with folks who are first dealing with an affiliate or a loyalty affiliate site, it's not clear to them where the money's coming from, and you're absolutely right. So oftentimes, in fact, we deal with trying to handle members who are going to check out what prices they're seeing on, the website or the merchant by clicking through our site, and then going to that site directly to see if there's actually a price differential, because oftentimes they might even think that they're getting, the first thing that's going to come through their mind is, oh, yeah, they're giving us a rebate, but maybe they're going to charge us more too at the same time. So they charge us more and give us a rebate. They don't understand that they're actually getting regular public pricing with a rebate kicked in for good measure. And so that confusion certainly is most prevalent at the initial stage of engagement. And things like that you've dealt with, Craig, certainly happen at that point. But that's all part of the upfront investment that we in the loyalty marketing space and loyalty affiliate space have to manage in terms of how we message on our website, how we're able to fend off these issues up front. It's a challenge, but it's done at our expense, which is done quite happily because we believe in the ongoing long-term relationship that particular member will yield for us. So it's unfortunate in your case, Craig, that's been. I hope that certainly gets reversed. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, Kimathi. I'm Rachel with magazines.com, and I'm just like Melissa. I mean, I really believe in loyalty affiliates, but my one question is like, as they get bigger, they almost become gatekeepers, and in the sense in that as they grow, they demand more. And while the affiliate network, in my opinion, was always a more lower risk than Click, in that it's percentage driven based on performance versus based on clicks, so it's really based on conversion. And I find that there's a growing trend in larger slotting fees and flat fees to either get started or to participate in certain programs versus increased commission rates. And I just wanted to know what your take was on that.
Yeah. Well, just as I mentioned in my preamble, there was what happened in the beginning and then what happened thereafter. This space, just like every other space, is incredibly dynamic. And what's happening now is, was not envisioned 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. To your particular point about what happens on the, in terms of asking for more slotting fees, et cetera, the interesting thing to recognize is and this is sort of to my previous point with Craig, the loyalty affiliates are investing so much up front and giving out so much of what they receive up front as well, that there's an investment which really borders on loss, if not, isn't a loss leader. And recouping that is a very smart and very sound business decision. That's one dynamic at play. Another dynamic at play is that the alternatives have also gone up dramatically. Search marketing has, I think by one measure, eMarketer mentioned, tripled from 6% to 18% in the course of a year. I think it's probably higher depending on which arena you're looking at. But nevertheless, the pricing has gone up for some of the options available. And some of the loyalty affiliates, as well as others in the search affiliates, et cetera, are using that to attract new customers because we're on that customer acquisition treadmill. And so all of those things sort of play into what's happening. But really it boils down to what are the, we're really not about comparing ourselves versus search. I think we're more about comparing ourselves versus non-trackable options that are available to folks. We think, when we see that $9.1 billion being spent on upfront ads with no guarantees whatsoever of results, the only guarantees that might be provided would be guarantees of eyeballs. We see that as future business that should be coming our way. And that shift is the discussion we'd like to see happening within the merchants as to getting more money into the affiliate program managers' hands to dole out, because at the end of the day, you will still know exactly how much your program cost, and you can put a lid on it, and even if there's upward pressure, you can absolutely check it and make sure that your risk is still managed. Yes?
We see that
Oh, sorry.
I'm affiliate manager for Ancestry.com. I'm very aware of the loyalty channel. I've actually talked to peers in the last year that have successfully grown the program. It should be a part of your marketing strategy. I'm concerned because a lot of big players in loyalty affiliates are parasitic, and that's a concern of mine. How can you address that? Are there, like a name like Fat Wallet, I know that they're not, so I would work with them and actually been talking with them regularly. But it seems that eBase, the Shop Home Select, the e-promise, the School Pop, they have a bad reputation for that. Can you speak to that? Do you have any comments on that? I know that it's kind of a opinion, but my affiliates will not knowingly work with me if they know that I'm working with those type of loyalty affiliates.
Yeah, and I certainly won't, in the spirit of that particular comment, won't hijack this conversation into that direction. I will say that I think, first of all, there are people who have done much more research. I'd say Ben Edelman, for example. He ought to be speaking from a podium to actually address that specific issue. There are folks who've done a lot more research than I to opine on that more definitively. I can say that there has been a lot of confusion out in the marketplace about exactly what is happening and what the effects are, which really puzzles me because we are in an age where things are fully trackable. So there shouldn't be a debate about what exactly is happening. There ought to be some very definitive measures about how much and what exactly would be happening in terms of damage, et cetera. I think, to be blunt with you, I think that that loyalty affiliates have undermined themselves by using those, not because, not by design, but I think because it has allowed something like this to cloud the issue, which, as you've seen from our discussion, there's a lot of work that loyalty affiliates are doing. I mean, nothing is, if there's one thing that it isn't, nothing is autopilot. And the whole argument there is that something is just automatically happening, and it's just and clearly these guys aren't making money hands over fist simply by doing something like that. I don't think it's as effective as that. But that's just an opinion. I think there are some specialists who could put some real hard data behind that. Yes, a plant. I am nothing if not upfront. I will tell you that.
Yes, I'm Lisa Frankina from All Networks, and I actually also used to work for a large aggregator, and I wanted to say to those merchants out there that to keep in mind that loyalty affiliates are very sophisticated affiliates. They have targeting capabilities, data mining capabilities. They have member databases as well. So even though, yes, loyalty affiliates bring, high quality traffic, they can also work towards that common goal of cost per acquisition in terms of researching possible consumers that haven't shopped at a merchant site for 30 days. They can also target new members that have signed up for the loyalty program through the loyalty affiliate. There are other ways to work towards the common goal as well, so keep that in mind as well.
Thanks. Actually, you're bringing a good point. Thank you for that, Lisa. We forget that there's oftentimes folks start in one direction and then discover that there's a completely other use, different use, a strategic use for a particular activity. And I'll just use as an example, let's think for a moment in terms of the cigarette lighter in your car. That was a doomed accessory until the past few years when we realized, oh, you know what, let's call it a power source instead. So the only doomed accessory in the back seat of a vehicle now is the ashtray, but you'll find the power source has now been renamed from something akin to from what used to be called a cigarette lighter. Think about what could have happened in the automotive industry if the folks who were making the car stereos decided to put in a USB port that could connect to an iPod more, and go directly to the speakers versus what has happened since. There are opportunities like that where you realize, okay, what we're selling or what we could do could be repurposed, and when you miss that, there are disastrous results, but there are also tremendous opportunities that come your way. McDonald's, a third one, and I'm just using that as an example. McDonald's lost their way when they figured that they were in the business of selling cheap burgers and fries. They were in the business of providing food that was tasty and delicious and what the time was considered nutritious at a reasonable price and served fast. Had they thought about it from that perspective instead, they would have gone into all of the salads that they've entered into now years before it became a controversy. Those are the opportunities that we see when you look at the affiliate business. There are opportunities just like that amongst the loyalty affiliates. One of them is segmentation. If you are a merchant and you have access to loyalty affiliates with known demographics, known consumer behavior, what are you doing to work with that affiliate to take advantage of that? What are you doing to take advantage of that particular relationship to test a promotion before it goes out to a broader group? You have a completely enclosed segment, you've got tracking, you've got a relationship, you've got a channel, all built there. And you have the opportunity to test it and see the results. You've got the measurability. Are you using that channel strategically, or are you too quick in some cases to, as in Craig's case, pull the plug before you've even fully realized what the value is there? So those sorts of things are, as Lisa was referring to, are really important to keep in mind. What else can you be doing other than and in addition to the sale? Yes?
Can I just totally take an idea that's floating around and reverse it, which is what you seem to be saying? For years, we've had the Consumer Electronics Manufacturers of America be a participant in our yearbook of extras. They send news releases, they create content, they pay us an annual fee. Why can't I go to Circuit City and tell them, come, be a member, send your news release, put your content in, don't pay us, but just give us your affiliate links, and we'll take the money we get from the affiliate links from all your news releases and all your content that go through News Release Wire, so that I can take my product, which I've been selling, and give it away if the buyer gives me their affiliate links as the revenue for the traffic I deliver to.
Sure.
Is that logical?
Sure. That certainly happens. There are analogs to that.
Okay.
There are folks, for example, iTunes has done a tremendous job. I helped set up the iTunes program as a consultant when I consulted to Apple. One of iTunes' areas of growth on the affiliate side is to work with organizations that have things like playlists on their websites, or they have other content where fan sites or playlists or other things like that, where they're providing that information out there. Now they can actually get compensated for that specific.
So iTunes delivers the content to somebody else's site, and they take whatever the affiliate program from that site is for delivering it to them?
If there's a playlist, if there's a song by Nirvana on K105, that song could be linked from their website to iTunes in a deep link basis, where it goes directly to the song that was playing, where the consumer can make a purchase, and where K105 can get a commission. And so whereas before it was just an informational piece, now that particular website can actually earn revenue by syndicating iTunes content as an affiliate.
So I monetize the Best Buy news release by putting my affiliate link in the bottom of it. I mean, whatever it is. And
Not to confuse them, right?
not to confuse them.
No.
And to monetize the news release. And then I just put the release through my system. And I'm making my money without having to charge the sender the release.
I think there are ideas like that which can certainly be looked at. I mean, one thing that comes to my mind without fully exploring your idea is the whole brand question, which as loyalty affiliates we look at very carefully. And so I know Circuit City would be very cognizant of anything that's coming their way, same with Best Buy. and where their releases crop up and in what context are going to be very important. But you know, it could be, you could be onto something there. Yes.
I've talked to a number of merchants that I think are very forward-thinking. When they look at the
It's Kathleen Lindsay.
when they look at the loyalty space, that their attitude is that they are our customer first as a loyalty site. They've become our member first, and we have them given the opportunity to visit the different merchants on our site for them to go look at and choose from. So we find that's a very positive way of merchants looking at the traffic that we're delivering to them, and our responsibility is then to deliver them traffic that converts very highly, that has a higher average order value and therefore a more profitable order, and continue on the pathway of even going down and looking at the lifetime value of that shopper, who then becomes a loyal shopper to that company as well as to us. We then share that membership, that member, and it benefits both of us. And to your point, Kimathi, that I think that has not been made strongly enough is that the 5% or 10% commission that is paid is a much lower cost of sale and retention than it is of having a 50% off coupon or a clearance special or things like that. So there's many different, I think, nuances to the equation of just, you know, what are we paying out to keep this customer? I think there's a longer term value there, especially for newer merchants in the affiliate space that are trying to generate a customer base for themselves that maybe is much more expensive. You have to look at the cost of acquisition in the first place. So, I mean, you could statistic yourself to death, but we've talked to merchants that have said that their loyalty marketer, their loyalty affiliates can deliver anywhere from 50% to 200% higher conversion rates and 20 to 50% higher average order value. And a higher average order value for most merchants, especially if you're in the retail or manufacturing space, is a guaranteed higher, more profitable order. So that's what we talk to our merchants about. Not everybody agrees with it, but I'm finding that more and more merchants that are really looking at the long-term value of their customers in an ever more competitive marketplace, that's the value, that's a true value proposition that we can bring to the table.
Thank you, and that's actually a great note to conclude on. And no, not a plant indeed. So thank you so much. I want to. Sorry, is there a comment from the back? Yes.
I just think so. I'm part of a loyalty online shopping mall as well, and I think the key is to communicate with the merchant on an ongoing basis. And by doing so, you can leverage segmentation and targeted marketing initiatives to work with that merchant, and the conversion rates will go higher, sales will go higher, and it's a win-win situation for both.
That's right, and thanks for those comments too. It's irrefutable, as Kathleen mentioned, that the folks that we do send them were members first. That's just a fact. By definition, that's how they're attracting new customers. So it's important to keep that in mind. But you know, as I mentioned in my original note, was that you know, the relationship between merchant and loyalty affiliate is actually a very positive one, and you've seen some of the merchants here actually attest to that. We want to make sure that we're arming, in fact, that we're arming the affiliate manager, who is our advocate inside the merchant, with as much information as possible so that they can go and do some of the internal battles that will allow us all to get bigger budgets for this channel and really to grow the channel as we'd like to, as opposed to cut ourselves off at the knees, if you will. So thank you so much for coming. It's a very lively discussion. Thank you for the user-generated content. This is a Web 2.0 success. And I have my contact information here. If anybody has further information that they'd like to share or would like questions, feel free to give me a call or an email. Thanks again.